Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Men don't fall for looks the way you've been told. They fall for how they feel when they're with you, and the truth is, there are certain phrases, when spoken at the right moment, that don't chase a man, they pull him closer. Not because they're manipulative, but because they speak directly to what every man secretly wants, to feel chosen, respected, and emotionally safe. Today, I'm going to show you the phrases that melt a man and make him want to fall for you. Men don't fall in love the way movies taught us they do. The idea that attraction begins and ends with what a man sees is comforting because it's simple, but it's also incomplete. What truly draws a man in, what makes him stay, and what makes him choose one woman over another has far more to do with how he feels in her presence than with how she looks standing next to him. A man can notice beauty in a second. It's instant, effortless, and often fleeting. He may admire a face, a smile, or the way someone walks into a room, but admiration alone doesn't create attachment. It doesn't anchor him emotionally. Attraction that lasts requires something deeper, an emotional experience that makes him feel different when he's with you than when he's anywhere else. How a man feels around a woman shapes his desire to return to her. If he feels relaxed, understood, and accepted, his nervous system settles. He stops performing, he stops guarding himself. In that emotional space, connection grows naturally. A woman who creates that feeling becomes more than attractive. She becomes essential. He doesn't just want her. He wants the version of himself he gets to be when he's with her. Many men walk through life feeling judged, evaluated, or pressured to prove their worth. They are measured by success, strength, competence, and confidence. So when a woman makes a man feel safe enough to be imperfect, to laugh without self-consciousness, to speak without fear of being dismissed, something powerful happens. His attraction deepens because he associates her with emotional relief. She becomes a place of comfort in a demanding world. Feeling respected is another emotion that builds attraction faster than appearance ever could. When a man feels that his opinions matter, that his thoughts are valued, and that his decisions are trusted, his confidence grows in her presence. Respect communicates belief, and belief creates emotional bonding. A man who feels respected doesn't feel small, he feels seen. And being seen is one of the strongest human needs. There is also the feeling of appreciation. Many men give effort without acknowledgement, assuming it's simply expected of them. When a woman notices his effort and expresses genuine gratitude, it creates a sense of purpose. He feels that what he does has meaning to someone he cares about. That feeling builds emotional attachment far more reliably than physical attraction ever could. Then there's the feeling of ease. A woman who doesn't rush intimacy, force labels, or create emotional pressure allows attraction to unfold naturally. When a man feels free rather than chased, he moves closer on his own. Emotional freedom doesn't push a man away, it invites him to choose. And when he chooses, the bond is stronger because it's voluntary, not coerced. This is why two women can look equally attractive, yet a man falls deeply for one and not the other. One makes him feel calm, confident, and valued. The other may look stunning, but leaves him feeling tense, uncertain, or inadequate. The heart follows emotion, not logic, and certainly not appearance alone. Looks may open the door, but feelings determine whether someone stays. A man falls in love with the emotional experience he has with a woman, the way she makes him feel about himself, about life, and about the future. When he feels understood, respected, appreciated, and emotionally safe, attraction transforms into connection. And connection is what turns interest into love. Attraction that lasts is rarely built on appearance alone. While physical beauty can spark interest, it is emotional safety that determines whether attraction deepens or fades. Emotional safety is the feeling that someone can be fully themselves without fear of judgment, rejection, or punishment. When a man experiences this with a woman, his attraction shifts from surface level interest to something far more powerful and enduring. Many men grow up learning to suppress emotion. They are taught to be strong, capable, and in control, often at the expense of vulnerability. Over time, this creates an inner tension, a quiet pressure to always appear composed, even when they feel uncertain or overwhelmed. Emotional safety offers relief from that pressure. It allows a man to lower his guard and experience connection without the need to perform. That sense of relief becomes deeply attractive because it is rare. A woman who creates emotional safety doesn't interrogate feelings or rush intimacy. She listens without interrupting or correcting. She allows silence without filling it with anxiety. This calm presence sends a powerful message. You are accepted here. When a man feels accepted, his nervous system relaxes. And when the body relaxes, emotional openness becomes possible. Attraction thrives in that openness. Appearance can impress, but emotional safety creates trust. Trust is what allows a man to invest emotionally. When he feels he won't be mocked for his fears, dismissed for his doubts, or judged for his past, he becomes more willing to share parts of himself he rarely shows. Each shared truth strengthens the bond. Over time, that bond becomes more compelling than any physical feature could ever be. Emotional safety also removes the fear of emotional consequences. A man who feels safe knows that mistakes won't be weaponized and disagreements won't turn into attacks on his character. This doesn't mean there are no boundaries or standards. It means conflict is handled with respect rather than punishment. That balance makes him feel secure, not controlled, and security fuels attraction because it allows love to grow without anxiety. One of the most attractive qualities a woman can possess is emotional steadiness. When her reactions are proportionate, when she communicates clearly instead of testing or manipulating, a man feels grounded in her presence. He doesn't have to guess where he stands or decode hidden meanings. Clarity replaces confusion, and clarity builds trust. In that space, attraction deepens naturally. Emotional safety also allows a man to feel competent rather than inadequate. When his efforts are acknowledged instead of criticized, he feels encouraged to give more. When his intentions are assumed to be good instead of questioned, he feels respected. Respect strengthens emotional attachment because it affirms his identity rather than undermining it. This is why emotional safety creates a form of attraction that doesn't fade with time. Physical beauty can change, but the feeling of being emotionally understood becomes more valuable the longer a connection lasts. A man may be drawn to appearance, but he stays for how a woman makes him feel when life gets difficult. In moments of stress, uncertainty, or vulnerability, emotional safety becomes the anchor. At its core, emotional safety tells a man that he is not alone, not under threat, and not required to be perfect to be loved. That message reaches deeper than appearance ever could. It speaks to a fundamental human need, to belong without conditions. When a woman provides that, attraction becomes something far more meaningful than desire. It becomes connection, loyalty, and emotional commitment. A man's emotional investment doesn't begin with grand gestures or intense feelings. It begins with respect and trust. These two elements quietly shape whether he opens his heart or keeps it guarded. While attraction may spark interest, respect and trust are what convince a man that investing emotionally is worth the risk. Without them, even strong chemistry eventually fades. Respect speaks to how a man is seen. When a woman respects a man, she communicates that his thoughts, decisions, and boundaries matter. This doesn't mean blind agreement or submission, it means acknowledging his perspective as valid. When a man feels respected, he feels competent. He feels capable. That sense of competence is deeply tied to his emotional willingness to show up. A man who feels belittled or second-guessed learns to withdraw, but a man who feels respected leans in. Trust is what allows respect to take root. Trust tells a man that his intentions won't be questioned at every turn and that he won't be punished for honesty. Many men hesitate to open up emotionally because they've learned that vulnerability can be used against them. When a woman consistently responds with understanding rather than suspicion, a man begins to feel safe revealing more of himself. Each moment of trust builds confidence that emotional openness won't lead to regret. Respect is also shown through emotional restraint. When disagreements arise, a woman who communicates without contempt, sarcasm, or emotional manipulation signals maturity. A man takes note of this. He learns that conflict doesn't equal chaos in this relationship. That realization reduces emotional risk, making it easier for him to invest. Emotional stability reassures him that connection won't come at the cost of his peace. Trust deepens when actions align with words. Consistency creates predictability, and predictability creates security. A man who knows what to expect doesn't feel anxious about where he stands. He doesn't feel the need to constantly prove himself or read between the lines. This sense of stability allows him to focus on building connection rather than protecting himself. One of the most overlooked aspects of respect is honoring a man's autonomy. When he feels trusted to make decisions and handle responsibilities in his own way, he feels empowered rather than controlled. Control erodes attraction because it communicates doubt. Trust strengthens attraction because it communicates belief. A man who feels believed in naturally wants to live up to that belief. Emotional investment also grows when a man feels appreciated rather than taken for granted. Appreciation is a form of respect that acknowledges effort. When his contributions are noticed, he feels valued. Value creates attachment. A man who feels that his presence makes a difference is more likely to commit emotionally because he sees himself as integral, not replaceable. Trust also means allowing space. Emotional investment doesn't grow under pressure. When a woman gives a man room to move toward her at his own pace, he feels free to choose rather than obligated. Choice strengthens commitment because it comes from desire, not fear. A man who chooses to invest emotionally does so with confidence rather than resistance. Over time, respect and trust create a foundation that supports deeper intimacy. They allow a man to express fears, hopes, and uncertainties without feeling exposed or weak. In that environment, emotional connection becomes a source of strength rather than vulnerability. He invests because he feels secure, understood, and valued. Ultimately, respect and trust tell a man that he is safe to give more of himself. They remove the need for emotional armor and replace it with confidence in the connection. When a man feels respected for who he is and trusted for who he's becoming, emotional investment becomes not just possible, but natural. Appreciation is one of the most underestimated forces in building connection and commitment. It doesn't demand attention, it doesn't announce itself loudly, and yet it shapes the emotional direction of a relationship more powerfully than many dramatic gestures ever could. When a man feels genuinely appreciated, something shifts inside him. He feels seen, valued, and emotionally anchored, and that feeling draws him closer over time. Many men move through relationships giving effort without recognition. They show up, solve problems, make sacrifices, and carry responsibility quietly. Often, this effort is assumed rather than acknowledged. When appreciation is missing, a man may continue to give, but emotionally he begins to pull back. not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't feel that his contribution matters. Appreciation reverses this withdrawal by reaffirming his importance. Genuine appreciation is not flattery. It isn't exaggerated praise or constant validation. It is specific and sincere. When a woman notices what a man does and expresses gratitude in a grounded way, it creates emotional reinforcement. He learns that his actions have impact. That sense of impact strengthens emotional connection because it ties his effort to a positive emotional outcome. Appreciation also communicates respect. When a man feels appreciated, he feels acknowledged as capable and reliable. This strengthens his identity within the relationship. He doesn't feel invisible or interchangeable. He feels chosen. Feeling chosen deepens commitment because it affirms that he holds a unique place in someone's life. Another powerful aspect of appreciation is how it shapes emotional safety. When a man knows his efforts won't be dismissed or criticized, he feels more comfortable giving freely. He doesn't fear that what he does will never be enough. This removes pressure and allows him to show up authentically rather than defensively. Emotional generosity grows in environments where appreciation is present. Appreciation also creates positive emotional association. A man begins to associate a woman with feelings of competence, warmth, and affirmation. Over time, those feelings become emotionally grounding. He doesn't just enjoy her presence, he feels better about himself when he's with her. That emotional uplift becomes a powerful reason to stay connected and invested. Commitment grows when appreciation is consistent, not constant, but reliable. When a man knows his efforts will be noticed, he remains engaged. Inconsistency, on the other hand, creates emotional uncertainty. He may wonder whether his contributions are valued or merely tolerated. Appreciation provides clarity. It tells him, without words, that what he does matters. Appreciation also plays a role during conflict. When a foundation of gratitude exists, disagreements feel less threatening. A man is more willing to work through challenges when he knows he is valued beyond the moment. Appreciation creates emotional resilience, allowing the relationship to withstand tension without breaking trust. Importantly, appreciation encourages growth rather than obligation. A man who feels appreciated doesn't give out of fear of losing someone. He gives because he wants to. Desire replaces duty. This shift is critical because commitment built on desire is stronger and more sustainable than commitment built on pressure. Over time, appreciation becomes a quiet bond that holds two people together. It reminds a man that he is not taken for granted and that his presence makes a difference. That reminder strengthens loyalty and deepens emotional attachment. In a world where many men feel unnoticed, appreciation becomes rare and powerful. At its core, appreciation tells a man that who he is and what he gives have value. That message strengthens connection because it meets a fundamental emotional need. When a man feels appreciated, commitment stops feeling like a sacrifice and starts feeling like a natural choice.